First unveiled as a concept car about 4 years ago. Later, released to the world via internet in a pandemic in July 2020. Finally, we have it, the Nissan ARIYA, in our dealerships. My name is Miles Roberts, this is Chorley Group GoEV. So one thing about the ARIYA is it stayed true to its concept roots. It looks fantastic. A lot of concept cars get turned down a bit when they get made to production, but this looks pretty much true to what happened 4 years ago. We've got these LED lights running down here, this wide blank shield with this Kamiko Japanese pattern in here, which is supposed to look like glued together bits of wood, a traditional Japanese art. Inside this, we've got all the sensors for the ProPilot system. We've got the cameras up top as well for reading the road ahead. Flat Nissan logo, the new style Nissan logo, which was unveiled 2 years ago as well. Moving around, we've got these air curtains, so this air can come around the bumper through this little hole over the wheel, and it creates a curtain of air that gives you better aerodynamic efficiency. But also these 19-inch alloys, which are standard on the advanced model, which this is, they have these plastic trims over the top of metal alloy. A lot of car manufacturers are doing that now. It helps to reduce the weight of the wheel, helps to make it more aero efficient as well. So under this flap we've got AC 7 kilowatt charging and we've got up to 130 kilowatt CCS rapid charging. That'll charge the battery in about 45-50 minutes. This Type 2 socket, as standard it's 7 kilowatts, but it can be upgraded to 22 kilowatts. And in fact on the Evolve model, that comes as standard with 22 kilowatt charging. So that's great to see. Only really of use in three-phase electric supplies though, so more sort of business, car parks, workplaces, that sort of thing, rather than your domestic property at home, but still, great to see that option. Under these nice two-tone wing mirrors here, we've got cameras, so Nissan for a long time putting 360-degree cameras on their cars to give you an around view, sort of bird's eye view on the car. That's still on this model from this advanced spec, which is the entry level. Incidentally, this is the tinted red paint with pearl black roof. I think it looks like a fantastic combination. It really looks sporty, it really stands out well. And this line, we've got the swage line going across here, and the black roof coming down helps this crossover to look a lot more sporty than it actually is. The proportions really look great. In fact, somebody walked past just earlier and said it looked a bit like a Lamborghini Urus, which I think Nissan would take that all day long. We've got keyless entry, and these black plastic claddings are give it a bit more of a sort of off-roady sort of crossover vibe. Let's not forget, Nissan made the first crossover vehicle, the Nissan Qashqai, 20 years ago. So they've been doing this a long time. This is their latest EV crossover. Obviously they've been making EVs for 10 years. This is a culmination of really two projects that are very, very close to Nissan's heart. And it will work great for them, I'm sure. So we've got this fantastic spoiler jutting out here, gives it a really sporty edge. And again, this secondary spoiler moulded into the boot lid here with these LED lights running around here. Really do look fantastic, really sporty, really modern. And it's a fresh design for Nissan, it's great to see. Moving around the back of the vehicle, we've got a power operated tailgate. And then a really cavernous boot, a fantastic size. You've got multiple options for setting it up. If you've just got a couple of shopping bags to put in, you can just put this little divider in so that it stops them rolling all the way to the back of the boot. Or indeed, these can be slid underneath. And then you've got an even deeper boot. So if you've got a big pushchair or perhaps a wheelchair or something you need to put in the back of it, or even if you're just going on a really, really big weekend away for the family, you've got plenty of space in the boot to be able to put stuff. If you put it in the higher location, obviously it gives you a flat load bed through. When you fold the seats, it's flat all the way through like an estate car. Again, really, really practical. And these storage pockets at the side here are ideal for putting your charging cables in, so you can keep those out of the way and still use the maximum boot. So really, it's a great package, and we just need to take it for a drive. So let's jump in the front, and we'll see how we get on. So we've had the opportunity to drive the ARIYA previously at Millbrook Proving Ground in Bedfordshire, which is a fantastic facility, and it's designed to mimic the UK's roads with alpine circuits and fast road and high-speed bowl, and there's a motorway section, but it's all still a bit too clinical, it's all a bit too technical. So actually getting it here and out on the Lancashire moors, this is our first attempt to really see what it's like on real UK roads with all their divots and potholes and sharp corners that aren't perhaps on camber, and just making sure that the car can respond properly to it. And I tell you what, it feels really planted. That's helped obviously by the fact that Nissan has designed this completely from the ground up as a new vehicle. So it has a skateboard chassis, as in common with many electric vehicles nowadays, which means the battery is set really low, and therefore the centre of gravity is really low, and that keeps the car from pitching too much around corners. This is a tall vehicle, similar in height to between Qashqai and X-Trail, but actually it doesn't feel like it. When you're driving, it doesn't wallow around the corners, it doesn't pitch and whir. Instead it drives like a really solid car. There's a bit of road noise, but nothing too untoward. This is a fairly worn out section of road up here on the moor, so it's not the smoothest bit of tarmac in the world, but actually it drives really, really smoothly. One thing I've noticed already, the turning circle is excellent on this car. Really easy to spin it round tight corners, and if you're trying to park, it's a doddle. The around view camera is helping out with that no end. Visibility is very, very good. We've got actual mirrors rather than cameras like you see on some cars nowadays, but they're very clear. They're very, obviously electrically folding, electrically operated and everything, but they're very clear, easy to see out of. Not really got any major blind spots anywhere around the vehicle. Because it's a crossover, you sit slightly higher up, so we've got this fairly commanding view over the, as you can see, narrow roads that we're on. We can see over the top of the boundaries and make sure that there's nothing coming the other way. This is the sort of car which will work really well for a family. It'll work really well for a commute. It's got the prestige look to it that means that you're not going to be very tight corners. You're not going to be feeling out of place at the golf club or business functions. This would be an ideal company car. In fact, I've chosen this as my next company car, which I'm waiting for, and hopefully it'll arrive in September. So really, with Nissan's heritage of making crossovers really well, making electric vehicles really well, and obviously improving massively on the old Nissan Leaf specification, this has now got a full liquid cooled battery. You're not going to have any of the overheating issues like Leafs did of old. This is a properly sorted car, and one that I really, really hope will turn Nissan's fortunes around in this market, because they led the way with the Leaf. They deserve to do very, very, very well with this car. Just talking about the specification, really, this is the advanced specification, which is the entry-level point. It does not feel like an entry-level car. I've sat in some entry-level BMWs before, and pretty much everything is an optional extra on those. This is pretty well sorted. Admittedly, we have spec'd the glass roof on this vehicle, and that's nice. That does let a lot of the light into the interior, and it's an opening sunroof as well. But no, I mean, these seats are comfortable. They're like a sort of cloth with a bit like a sort of a modern man-made fabric that you might find sort of sportswear bags, that sort of thing. It feels quite nice, high-tech material. This sort of leather effect on the dashboard here with stitching as well. We've still got the twin screen, so we've got two massive 11-inch screens up in front of us, which look fantastic. I really am giving the car work out. This is the twistiest little bit of road I think I've ever driven on. But the good news is actually that all the way down this hill we haven't used any power, because it's been braking, because it's been using regenerative braking all the way down this hill. We're actually gaining miles back. So we started at the top, we had 223 miles left on the dash, and we're now showing 226. So we've actually added a bit of range just coming down this hill now. Anyway, we'll take it for a bit more of a drive and see how we get on. So the Nissan ARIYA is equally at home on the motorway as well. Here we are on the M65, just heading towards Preston, and good visibility all round. It's got the ProPilot system, so if you press that button and set the speed, it does lane keep assist, it does active cruise control, so if the car in front slows down or speeds up, it'll go up to the speed that I've set and do that automatically. So realistically, it's a joy. It's just easy to drive. There's no hassle whatsoever with doing long journeys, and when you've got a range of 250 to 300 miles, it's what you need. You need a car that's comfortable, which this definitely is, easy to drive, 100%, and one that when it's got ProPilot on, you know, it's a second pair of eyes watching the road for you. You can obviously concentrate on the road, hands on the wheel. You know, we're not saying that you can take your hands off and, you know, read a book, but it's another pair of eyes so that if you start to get that little bit drowsy, it's going to make sure that it's looking after you. It's slowing down for the cars and stopping ahead. Having just done a couple of long, you know, 200-mile journeys each way the last couple of days, I've kind of figured out that actually that about 150 miles is my limit in terms of how far I can drive before I need to take a break myself. So the fact that this does 250 miles just means you're not going to worry on your longer journeys. You're going to stop, and if you do stop, there's so many more rapid chargers out there than there was a few years ago that it becomes a lot less of a hassle. And with the faster charging, with 130 kilowatt CCS rapid charging this now does, you're back on your way in half an hour, 40 minutes, and you've gone from 20% to 80% in half an hour. It's no bother. By the time you've gone inside and you've ordered your McDonald's or something healthier maybe, you're going to find that the car's charged up and you're ready to go. It's not adding time to your journey, it's just using your time a bit more productively by eating. That's all we've got for you on this video. We've had a great time just driving the car on the UK roads. This is something you can do yourself. If you'd like to arrange test drive, get in contact with one of our branches. The contact details are down below. If you'd like to look a bit more information, we've done a walk around video. You can click down here, just get that information from Nissan. Down here is our Millbrook Proving Ground video. And if you'd like to subscribe to see more of our videos, click up here.